Out here in eastern Washington, a lot of snow, a lot of ice, a lot of stiff winds, and cold temperatures. What better place to be than at Field Court, Beasley Coliseum in Pullman, and Pac-10 basketball, one of the great rivalries in the Pac-10, as the Washington Huskies take on the Washington State Cougars. Hi, everybody. Along with Lenny Wilkins, I'm Kevin Calabro, the Hall of Famer. 7-game winning streak for the Cougars over Washington. And that's all Washington's been here in the last week or so.
No question about it. Everyone talks about it. And will the law of averages come into play? Because right now, you got a young team in the Washington Cougars. You got a team that's just on the rise with the Washington Huskies. So this should be an outstanding game, Kevin. I like the matchups.
Well, Washington has a win streak of their own. They have won 7 straight regular season games. They stand at 9-3. They're 9-0 at home. And the Cougars come in at 8-4. 3 of their 4 losses, they have been outscored badly in the second half, something that Tony Bennett talked to us about before the ball game. Taylor Rochester is immediately fouled by Isaiah Thomas. This is one of the truly fine matchups of the afternoon. You have the freshman from Tacoma, Isaiah Thomas, against the 5th-year senior, Taylor Rochester, who figures to handle that ball a great deal for the Cougars.
Well, he really is. You know, he's the pace setter for them, and they're not going to get in a hurry. They're going to use the clock. They want to get a good shot, backdoor play. Great pass by Rochester, and that's what he does.
That was Klay Thompson on the inbounds, then getting it back. Never leave the man that throws the ball inbounds. Detman did, and then gets it blocked by Thompson, and it is grabbed by Aaron Baines.
Well, that's the one thing the Washington State Cougars are going to do, and I was talking with Tony Bennett, is that they're going to play good position defense. They're going to take penetration away, make the Huskies make some outside shots.
Thompson straightaway 3, no go. Reaching over the top of Darnell Gant was Caleb Forrest, and the foul is on Caleb. That will be his first. And that guard matchup, we talk a lot about, or will, about Thomas and Rochester, because they will be dominating the ball for the most part. But Justin Detman has turned in a very good year for Washington this year, averaging 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. But Detman is 5'11". Klay Thompson is listed at 6'6".
Yeah, and that's why they got to have patience. You know, the Huskies are a high-energy type team. They want to get it and go, but they got to be patient. They got to look for their spots, because the Cougars are going to stay in front of you. They're not going to give you any easy opportunities.
Cougars a very, very stingy basketball team. Giving opponents just 34% shooting. It's #1 in the nation. A drive and a kick, and that's Pondexter with a one-dribble adjustment, knocking it down over Harmelin.
And Pondexter, he's really got to step up, Kevin. You know, he's a guy that everyone says, yeah, he's going to come on, he's going to be big time. Well, he should. He has to step up, because they're certainly going to cover Isaiah Thomas and Brockman.
Here's Rochester with it. Swings it right side to Harmelin, covered by Pondexter. Really extending the defense on Harmelin, who's an excellent 3-point shooter.
Well, that's what the Huskies have to do. They got to utilize their quickness, get out there, bother them, make them make a mistake. Like right there with the pressure defense, sometimes can force the other team to get in a hurry. There you saw they made them turn the ball over.
Well, University of Washington won 6 of 7 meetings from 02 to 05. Washington State since then has won 7 straight. That's a Washington State record in the series. The all-time lead, or longest winning streak, was held by Washington at 17 back in the 20s and early 30s. Thomas trying to work the ball to the post, had it tipped away and stolen by Klay Thompson.
Well, that's where you saw the pack defense, okay? They pack it in. They want to be in a help position all the time, so they're going to make it difficult for the Huskies to move that ball around.
Whistle in low, off the ball.
That's foul number 5, Justin Detman.
Fouls on Detman, that is his first. Rochester will bring it inbounds with a reset of the shot clock. Aaron Baines will maneuver for it. Rochester will take it back, glides into the lane, uses the height advantage on Thomas, but missed the runner, and Pondexter for the rebound.
Well, that's something he has to do, and right there, he's got to cover up, get back, play for the drive, which he did. And, you know, what happened is that we talked about the Huskies being patient, you know, don't get in a hurry. Right there, you saw they got a little out of control, and that leads to turnovers.
Coaches, 2 of the finest in the country. Lorenzo Romar, 7th year at Washington, and Tony Bennett in his 3rd year, the 39-year-old. They've both done an outstanding job with their programs. Baines inside double team. Sweeps up the hook over a double team up and in.
Well, if you're going to come back and double team, you cannot let the offensive player split you. Right there, Baines did a great job. He was patient. He split them and got the little hook shot in.
Baines had 16 in the first win of the year last year over Washington. Brockman's shot will go. Pondexter with a putback, offering off the mark, and Baines with a rebound.
And you see right now, Rochester's bringing that ball up. He's not in a hurry. He doesn't mind using the clock. This is their style. So they're going to execute you and move the ball, try and get a wide open opportunity.
And Rochester was 10th in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio last year. So he makes good decisions on the floor. Of course, Derek Lowe was the primary ball handler last year at point guard for this ball club. That won 26. Rochester along the sideline. At that moment, anyway, lost his awareness of where he was on the court, stepped on the sideline. That'll turn it back to Washington.
Well, Washington's extended defense is really going to help them. They got to get out. They got to put pressure. They got to try and make Washington State, Washington Huskies get in a hurry. Both teams have a couple of turnovers right now.
Benoit Overton is in the lineup now for Isaiah Thomas. Overton, a sophomore. He started 26 games for Washington last year, coming off the bench with the emergence of Thomas, the freshman, coming onto campus. Denton will stay on at the point. This is Brockman sliding up to the top. 16 to shoot for Benoit Overton. Matthew Brian Ammoning in the lineup too. That's really not part of his repertoire. That mid-range shot, that one just inside the top of the arc is short, and the Cougars will bring it up. However, Matthew Brian Ammoning shooting 59%. This is Caleb Forrest on the wing, and he'll wheel it outside to Klay Thompson.
Well, you can see that even the Huskies, they're playing good pressure defense, and everybody's kind of packing it in. They're all from the foul line in, and that's what the Cougars do so well, because they're foul line in, and they're going to give good help. Right there, you see it.
Foul called on Denton. That's his second. We'll come back with more of this rivalry in a moment. Along with Lenny Wilkins, Kevin Calabro on hand. And we check in now with the other member of our broadcast team, Jen Mueller. Jenny?
Kevin, I had a chance to talk to Lorenzo Romar before the game, and the Huskies had a little change in plans yesterday. Their plane couldn't land in Pullman as scheduled. Instead, they ended up landing in Lewiston and having to bus from Idaho across the border. But Lorenzo said, hey, at least they made it here safely, and they can open Pac-10 play. Now, for the Cougars, this isn't just the start of conference play. This means an end to their crazy travel schedule. Their staff is awfully glad that now they can focus on West Coast travel instead of traveling to New Jersey and Louisiana, as they recently done.
Thanks, Jen. Appreciate that. Washington State last year 26-9, went to the Sweet 16, and of course Lorenzo Romar's led his ball club to 2 Sweet 16s as well. There's Rochester again, launching that long body up and laying it in with a nice finish along the inline.
Well, he's a smart player. He was reading the defense. Everyone had their back turned, and he made a baseline move. There wasn't anyone there to give help.
Now Dentman had to go to the bench with 2 fouls, so Thomas comes off, triggering from 3, and a collision inside. Down goes Baines, and Brockman is on the floor as well. And that won't be the first or the last time that you will see those two colliding inside. And this time it works against Washington.
Well, Baines is going to try and keep Brockman off the boards. He's got his work cut out for him, but he did a very good job just then. And here you see the extended defense of the Huskies. They're going to pick up Rochester, make him use some time on the clock, put a little bit of pressure on the ball.
Nikolai Koprivica in the lineup now for Washington State. But off the ball a hole, and this one we're working against Klay Thompson. That is the first on Thompson. So Washington will take it back. Washington with Thomas and Overton at guards. Pondexter, Ryan Ammoning, and Brockman up front. 6-2 count Cougars. Brian Amity wants it in deep. This is where he scores, Lenny, right there, but a lot of length around him.
Yeah, and you know the Cougars are going to drop back. We talk about packed defense. They're going to pack it in, so he has to be real patient. If he sees it getting double teamed, he's got to find the open man.
Klay Thompson dropping down, as Lenny said, at 6'6". The freshman has great instincts. Here's Caleb Forrest triggering for mid-range. Pondexter with a rebound.
Right here is where the Huskies have got to try and make hay in transition. Don't let the Cougars get set up. But once they get set up, they're going to make you work to get an easy opportunity.
And in order to do that, they've got to crash that defensive glass. There's Brockman inside again. They collapse Forrest on him with Baines, come up with a block shot and force a turnover.
Yeah, that's right. And you're going to see that the Cougars will look to get it up, but they'll be patient. If nothing's there, they're going to play the half-court game. They're not afraid of it.
Thompson curls and pops. Pondexter another rebound. And again, the Cougars cognizant of Washington's ability to get down the floor. They fill the paint, and waiting for Overton was Thompson, who blocks him and draws the foul.
Well, you know, Washington, the Huskies can rebound. You get the ball, you got to push it up the court. You can't say that there's going to be 4 guys back, I can't push it. You have to try and push it. If nothing's there, fine, then bring it out. That was a smart play by Overton because he forced the issue.
Klay Thompson picks up his second foul, so he goes over to the bench. Here's Thomas streaking into the lane. Nice drive, taking Rochester with him right to the cup to lay it in lefty.
That's his strength, and that's what he's got to look for because he's so quick. If he gets in below the foul line, you know, he's athletic enough that he can make those little runners.
D'Angelo Castro in the lineup now. Lenny, the freshman, 6'8", out of nearby Spokane Ferris High. State champion 2 years running. Good-looking freshman with a basketball, 16 to shoot.
Yeah, he's a very patient guy. He's another guy, though, that they can go inside to. You know, he as they say, he's got great hops. He can get, if he gets position, he can get it up to the basket.
Castro is #1 on this team in block shots with 15 of them. Very durable player who has a knack for blocking shots. He had 8 blocks in last year's high school championship 4A game, which tied a state record. Rochester, 35 to shoot, will swing it in play. And Harmeling will come to get it out near the 8-second mark.
You can see the Huskies are going to pressure the ball. They want to give help when they can, like right there. Now they're going to pressure, make them put the ball on the floor, get the Cougars in a hurry, and what happens? Turnover. So right now, the Huskies are playing their type of game, even though it's not a lot of points up on the board. The score is only 6-4, but give credit to both teams because they will come out and try and defend you.
2 turns apiece. 6-4 count Cougars. And I know a moment ago I called it the 8-second line. It's the 10-second mark where Castro picks it away from Vanoy Overton. But he apparently had dribbled the ball out of bounds here at the near edge right in front of us. A lot of contact on the play. No whistle. He just simply dribbled out of bounds.
Well, he's so quick, this big guy. He can get down the court, but he does step out of bounds. Great defensive play, but in his anxiousness, he lost his balance, stepped out of bounds.
I like that non-call. Dave Hall, Scott Thornley, and Chris Ratstatter, our officials here this afternoon. Both players going for the ball when contact was made.
Yeah, it's a loose ball, and I think the officials made a great decision. When the ball is loose like that, hey, anyone's entitled to it.
Let them play. That's a non-call. And, of course, both coaches are pleading their cases along the sideline. Of course, we have the student body behind us, Lenny, to lend any assistance we or the officials may need.
They're there to help us.
Thomas splits a pair of defenders. He can do that so well. So cat-like, quick, and elusive. Dribble handoff to Justin Holiday in the lineup now. And then here's Matthew Brian Amity trying to spin inside, using the offhand and a foul on Matthew Brian Amity.
Amity's too anxious right now. He wants to make something happen. He's a good player, and he can. But when he gets the ball on a low block, he needs to take a look. He's putting it down and going right away. And all he's doing is picking up cheap offensive fouls.
And in talking to the coaches, he played too fast last year as a freshman and really slowed down and got a better sense of space and where he was on the court this year. Here's a skip pass intercepted by Thomas. looking down the court, but again, the Cougars fill the paint and defend inside out.
Well, they're going to get back. Their whole premise is to get 4 guys back so that they're in position to help one another.
Thomas drives in. Great spinning left-hander up and in by Isaiah Thomas. IT on the board, and we're tied at 6-6.
Now, that's where he's really effective. From the foul line down, you let him get that little runner in there, it's going to be difficult to stop him.
Good game here early. Both clubs just trying to feel the other one out here, get a sense for where the weaknesses may be. Harmeling with it on a crossover. Checked by the 6'6" Holiday. Oh, is he a terrific young defender. Out of Los Angeles, California. Rochester will swing it in low to Castro. Backs in, turns, pump fakes, and laying it in.
Oh, he's got to be a nice young player. You see how patient he was? He also had great view of where people were. He turned baseline. They couldn't stop him. Right now, look at where they are. Look at where the Cougars are. They're going to play inside there. Everybody's going to be back there helping, but you can't lose sight of who you're guarding, and then you can make the other team take tough shots.
Ryan Ammoning to Gant, missed it, followed his own miss, pokes it free. Overton drives into the lane, but Koprivica read the pass, steps in front of Holiday and has the pick. Third turn on the Huskies. Koprivica to the end line. Leap and lean won't go. Great crash on the weak side. Caleb Forrest there to direct it up and in.
Well, I got to give the Cougars a lot of credit because they're crashing the boards. They're giving help. A guy goes to the basket. They're going to drop back and try and pick up some offensive rebounds.
Thomas sneaks into the lane and a handoff right at the rim to Gant for the lay-in.
Well, that was good execution by the Huskies that time, and they made quick passes, got inside, and was able to score.
Cougars by 2. 10-8 count, 10:33 to go in the first quarter. First half, I should say. Left side, Harmeling. In low to Casto. Backs down on Matthew Brian Ammoning. Turns with a hook. A heartbreaker in and out. Thomas with a rebound.
But you got to love what he's doing. You know, he's patient. He sees the floor, and he's getting good looks at the basket.
Thomas off the screen. Casto jumps out. Thomas terminates the dribble. May have walked. Overton will take it. Streaks in left to right. Cradles it with a left hand. Missed the scoop. Koprivica the rebound. Here comes Rochester with it. Harmeling open for 3. He can do that. Not this time. Ryan Ammoning with a rebound. Overton on the push. The race to the glass. Tried to scoop a reverse up there. They say it was tipped off Washington State hands out of bounds. It'll be Washington ball.
Well, he was lucky. Look at here right now. You got to get the ball up the court. Thomas is going to make his move. Here he gets inside. Jump, little hook, 2 points.
Washington State on top of Washington 10-8. Lenny, so far the Cougars have forced Washington into 6 turnovers.
Well, they're doing what they want, Kevin, and you talk about getting back on defense. Look at here. Right here you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th guy coming into play. The ball is still outside, so they're going to surround the basket. They're not going to let you have anything easy. Then when they put the Washington Huskies in a half-court game, look at how the defense reacts. Ball goes inside. Now, take a look. You got one guy here. You got one guy here. One under the basket here. Everybody's almost got a foot in the paint. So Brockman's not going to get any easy look at the basket. That's the Cougars' pack defense.
Brockman, in fact, has not scored. Washington shooting 33%. They bring it in bounds. Overton leaves it to Brockman. Double clutches into the air. There's Casto from the weak side coming over to help Baines, and he rejects it out of bounds. 22 to shoot for the Huskies.
You can't say enough about their pack defense because everybody has a responsibility, and they do give help.
Overton misses one at the rim. On the inbounds, he had beaten his man and just could not convert. Tipped out of bounds. Washington State will tackle.
Well, the Washington State big guys, they know their role. They know what they have to do. They got to get back there and give the help. Here you see Overton goes to the basket, and right there, Great block. Everybody is in position to get a rebound and get down the court.
Overton goes to the bench. Detman will step back in. He's playing with 2 fouls, remember. Rochester is covered by Isaiah Thomas, who extends his defense. Hard cut into the lane. Falling to the floor. The Huskies pack in the defense. Baines doubled to Rochester. Right side, a little leap and lean off the mark. Casto's in the mix for the rebound, but prying it free out of there is Justin Holiday. Marcus Capers in the lineup, the 6'4" freshman now for the Cougars. Holiday with a solid stroke just inside the 3-point arc.
Well, that certainly will help the Huskies because you know the Cougars are going to pack it in. And when they come to pack it in, you've got to find the open man. That time they did a very good job of it.
Mike Hartoon is in the lineup now as well, 6'3" freshman from Medford, Oregon. He's handling the ball. Hartoon from South Medford High School gives to Rochester. Run and bank up and in. Rochester on that right side makes those diagonal cuts, puts it in the left hand. He's done that twice.
Yeah, he is. He's so smart. He called his teammate to come out like he was going to give him a screen, and then he was able to go baseline.
12-10 count. Washington State on top. Thomas outside for 3. Bingo. Thomas hits the 3, and the Huskies take the lead, 13-12. 12 minutes gone by here in the opening half. Rochester out of Santa Barbara, California, transfer from Tulane. Senior playing in his 5th year. Out on the point. Casto will come out high to screen. Gant will hedge on Rochester. He'll release. Here to the near side comes Capers. From one freshman to another, it got free from Casto, grabbed by Rochester. 3 freshmen on the floor. Handling now is Mike Hartoon, one of them. Out to Rochester with 4 to shoot. Guns a 3 from well outside the arc, but he missed it.
Well, he had to take that shot. The clock was running down, and, you know, he lined it up really good. He's just struggling a little bit with his outside shot.
Thomas now is taking the leadership role on the court. He scored 7 of the 13 points for the Huskies, including that go-ahead 3 a moment ago. 7:18 remaining in the first half. Thomas fires and got the foul. And added a little drama, but that's what this game is about sometimes, a little bit of drama. Thomas may get 3 free throws fouled in the act by Rochester.
Well, anytime you see him bring the ball over to the right side of the floor as he's facing the basket, you know a screen is coming, and then he's going to look for the shot. There he makes it. You know, on that one, he made the 3-pointer. But the last time, he got fouled in the act of shooting.
Throwing some on. Jack Thompson here, one of the great all-timers. Cougar football program and an even better human being. Just a really terrific guy, Jack Thompson. And Isaiah Thomas, Coach Wilkins. He has scored 7 of the 13 Husky points so far, and he's been all over the court.
Well, he's been all over the court, and the nice thing about him, he's shown a lot of patience. He's getting good looks at the basket. Anytime that you get into the basket like that, he's going to have great opportunities.
Thomas is hitting 3 of 4 and has a 3-pointer. Coming off a game of 27 against Morgan State. Take a look at how he rates against some of the terrific freshmen in Husky history. Right behind Mike Hayward, who had an 87-28 against New Mexico.
Also, Paul Fortier. I remember him when he was playing. So, you know, and there he is right there on the bench as assistant coach. And, you know, he was a nice player for the Huskies.
Thomas gets 2 free throws, ruled inside the 3-point perimeter when he was fouled. And Isaiah splits a pair. Rochester will bring it up. Klay Thompson is back in now for Washington State. Baines will take it inside. He is doubled. Sweeping hook over the double team, up and in.
I tell you, the guy shows nice poise. But again, take a look at the pack defense. They all get back, and they're in position to give good help.
Huskies do not have a dominant shot blocker. Thomas picks up the dribble to Detman. Shooting for 3. Bingo. So Detman and Thomas book in some threes, and it's a 3-point lead now for the Huskies.
Well, they're their most effective backcourt because both guys can really score. And if you drop off one, the other can do it. But I think that Isaiah is probably a little better penetrator.
2 for 3 Huskies from outside the arc. Nice find inside. It's Capers from Forrest, doubled. Rochester 15 to shoot to Forrest. Ball fakes and drives and Pondexter got caught reaching in on Forrest.
Well, anytime you move the ball as well as the Cougars do, you got to be careful about getting out to cover the ball. Because when you do, the defensive player, offensive player sees you coming, he's going to put the ball on the floor and try and get to the basket.
17 fouls on Washington, and so Forrest goes to the line. He'll get another. Forrest hitting a tear, 17-16 Washington. Pondexter, handoff to Thomas. He'll shoot a three. That grazed the iron. Pondexter, after the rebound, had it ripped away. Klay Thompson lost it out of bounds. Thomas and Rochester really battling one another, as we promised before the game. And then a good matchup between that man right there, Klay Thompson, and Justin Denton. Rochester at 6'1", and Klay Thomas at 6'6".
Now they're bringing Brian Ammoning back in the game, and he's got to show a little bit more patience. I thought he showed great patience against Portland State, but for some reason now he seems to be in a little bit of a hurry to score.
Overton, skip pass. Dentman, 20 to shoot. Overton directing the traffic now, wants to bring Brockman out high, 11 to shoot. Baines, hedges, stops the dribble, then recovers. Good defense. Inside Brockman.
Yeah, that was great defense by Baines. I mean, he showed really well, and then he got back, and that allowed his teammate to help him and cover. And what happens? The Huskies get in a hurry again, force a little bit of a turnover.
And John Brockman has been stymied here early. He has not scored. And he, of course, leads this team with 16.5 per ball game. Brockman having some difficulty with the length and that collapsing defense of the Cougars.
Yeah, the great position defense by Baines, and then the Cougar defense has been superior, coming back, double team, and then rotating.
David Harmeling over to Klay Thompson, curling off the screen, will kick it outside. Baines, double, triple team, looking for the open man. Denton sneaks in, gets in front of Forrest for the steal. Good ball movement up the floor by the Huskies, and an excellent break. Brian Ammoning getting rid of it to Pondexter.
Defense will do that for you every time, and you play good defense. You make them take a tough shot, get the ball out and run. They can't get back in their packed defense. You get opportunities to basket. Good defense by the Huskies that time.
Huskies on top by 3. Thompson slides to Caleb Forrest. Then Thompson will drift for 3 and knocks it down.
Well, that's a beautiful play. You know, you give the ball and you go the wrong way, pass over the top, and if you're a jump shooter, you got a great opportunity.
Thompson shooting 33% from 3, has 11 points, 5 rebounds a game. Has 8 blocks and 10 steals on the year as well. Pondexter trying to make some headway on Thompson. That's rough going. Spins away from the pressure. Nice move, couldn't finish. Brockman has it wrestled away by the 6'8" Caleb Forrest, and then Matthew Brian Ammoning comes in to tie him up, and on the exchange of possession, it will go to Washington.
Well, both teams are really working hard under that basket. I love it. I love it. Right here, the good defense. They come in, they give the help. They're fighting for position. Everybody down there is after the ball, and Brian Ammoning makes a great tie-up.
Reset of the shot clock. Washington ball. Pondexter has a step on Thompson. Good help defense by Caleb Forrest. Pondexter. Brian Ammoning, Overton. 23 to shoot, and Denton will. He'll knock down this second 3 of the afternoon. Justin Denton from long range, 22-19. And the Huskies in the lead again with 3:44 to go in the half.
I'll tell you, that was great ball movement by the Huskies because they were trapping, double teaming, and up on top, guys wide open. They swung the ball out, got an easy opportunity.
Forrest steps out looking for Capers on the end line. Capers 6'4", Florida High School Player of the Year last year, handing off to Forrest. Well, he rams into Brockman, lost control. Pondexter the other way, and a foul at midcourt.
Well, that's what the Huskies have to do. Anytime you force them to turn the ball over, get that ball out, get up the court, you can run on them. especially in those situations because they can't get people back to give the help. Right here, you're going to see they got the ball. They got to come off. Nice little screen. Thompson's wide open, makes a three. Right here, Detman, okay? He makes a drive to the basket. Everybody's going to come back. Now the open man makes it look easy.
Washington on top of Washington State 22-19. A lot of emotion, a lot of passion in this gym. Tony Bennett taking deference with the officials.
Well, you know, hey, his defense is real good, and he's a little upset if he doesn't get the call, but he's also upset if his team doesn't get back and get into that packed defense. That they've given Washington a few too many easy opportunities.
And as a result, Lenny, Washington shooting 42%. One of the keys is the Huskies have out-rebounded the Cougars 15-8. Pondexter quietly having a nice game. 4 points, 3 rebounds. He's got it now, streaking in jump stops. Swings to Brockman, who's yet to score until now.
Well, that was a great play by Pondexter. You know, we talked about him stepping up because he's so capable. There you saw he made a great move to the basket. He went up, everybody's coming. He finds Brockman, gets Brockman an easy opportunity. Maybe Brockman gets going now.
Huskies by 5. They've been very patient. 2:55 to go in the first half. Rochester inside the Baines. Brockman playing with 1 foul. You can see Aaron Baines get some room by using that bulk.
Yeah, that's right. That's beautiful. When you see a big guy that can do that, create a little space, and that was all he needed for the little jump shot.
Denman with it outside. He's nailed a couple of threes. Overton handling now as Isaiah Thomas goes to the bench. Dexter has 16 to shoot. He wants it on the block, but Harmeling overplays it. Good two-man plays. Pondexter pops out. He passed up an open look, takes it in deep, and rolls it up and in. He knew what he was doing.
Well, that's a great move there. You get down into the box that low, that close to the basket. He's going to be able to out-jump most defenders.
Pondexter averages just shy of 9 a game and 6 rebounds with 2 assists. Is Koprivica. Inside it comes to Aaron Baines, doubled. They rotate out of it. Caleb Forrest will dribble in and knock down the jump shot. And Matthew Bryan Ammoning, who had given him some space, closes out but fouls him.
And that's the problem about double teaming, Kevin. If you use your big guy, which he had the length, Ammoning, to come back and help and double team on the ball. You see right here, pass goes inside. Now Ammoning's there. Now he has a long way to run to get back to his man. That's tough. That's tough coverage.
Forrest, a senior from Pagosa Springs, Colorado, averages 6 points and 3 rebounds. This is his third start, and this the 13th game played by the Cougars this year, averaging 19 minutes. And Forrest with a 3-point play has pulled the Washington State Cougars to within 2. 26-24 the count with 1:52 to go in the first half. Thomas back in now for Washington with Overton. Lorenzo's rotated his 3 guards liberally. Brockman faces up and hits.
I think that's a smart move. Once you get Brockman off the mark, now get him around that foul line area. If the big guy doesn't come out and play him, he can make that shot. So that was a smart play. Give Coach a lot of credit for that one.
And the Huskies, Lenny, have hit 5 of their last 7. Bain out of the double team. Whips it cross court to Castro. Koprivica with it. 17 to shoot for the Cougars. Rochester in no hurry. They'll immediately go to Baines, and again the Huskies double. Get it out of his hands. Koprivica's pass broken up by Thomas and deflected out of bounds. Cougars have it with 8 to shoot.
Oh, that was great double team, great rotation by the Huskies that time. They forced them to hurry up that pass, and that's why it went out of bounds.
Koprivica will bring it in bounds. Forrest has it ripped away, deflected off the official. It's in play. Forrest will take it with 3 to shoot. Pondexter from behind got a piece. Grabbed by Baines, great rebound. Then stolen back away by Matthew Bryan Ammoning. Up the floor he comes. He'll hold, cross court to Vinoy Overton. Shoots a 3 off the heel of the iron. Rochester with a rebound. 44 seconds left in the first half. Rochester enters to Castro. Count it if it goes. He's fouled and will go to the line for 2.
I tell you, I'm impressed with Castro. I mean, you know, the big guy can run the floor, he'll defend you, and he's patient. You know, he doesn't get in a hurry. If he gets double teamed, he'll pass it. Right there, he made himself available, and he gets fouled in the act of shooting.
Matthew Bryant Ammoning with a foul, and that is his third of the ball game. Castro hits the free throw, and Washington State now doing well at the line, where they have hit 4 for 4. Denton will come back in to get Overton. D'Angelo Castro. 4A champions back-to-back at Ferris High School in 07 and in 08. In fact, they had a win streak of 58 consecutive. And you can see how. He is 6'8", 229. I mean, literally a man among boys at a high school level, right?
He had to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that body and the way he runs the floor and the quickness. I tell you, the big guy, he's going to make an impact in the Pac-10.
They've got some good-looking freshmen over there on that Cougar squad. We've seen many of them already here this afternoon. 28-26 count, 2-point lead for the Huskies. 3-second differential between shot and game clock. Isaiah Thomas, very dangerous, very elusive, slips between defenders, crosses over, little running left-hander off the mark, sweeping in for the tip jam is Gant. He bangs it off the glass and draws the foul as he came over the top. And so with 5 and 4/10 seconds remaining, the Cougars will go to the free throw line with a chance to tie the game.
Well, they're going to look to come. The shot goes up. They're going to crash the boards because they are one of the top rebounding teams in the Pac-10. And right there, he just comes over the back. Baines has done a great job. He's taking up space down there. He's not letting people just come in there. I'm impressed with the big guy, Kevin. You know, I haven't seen him play that much. But all of a sudden, he's showing that he understands the game.
Baines, the big down under from Caen, Australia, 6'10" and 250. He was spotted early on by the Washington State personnel over there. As a 15-year-old knocks down the free throw. Score tied at 28. Thomas with a handle 3. Thomas with 1, and he is fouled with 1 and 5/10 seconds remaining by Caleb Forrest.
That was a mental mistake by Forrest because, you know, the clock is running down. All you have to do is stay in front, let your pack defense help. And they were going to be there, but he got caught outside. And what happens with big guys, they can't recover quick enough, and so they put the hands out, and that's what happened.
Well, he had a foul to give, if you will. It's the 6th team foul, so the Huskies will rally around Lorenzo Romar with 1 and 5/10 seconds remaining. Well, in this ball game, we have seen the Cougars with some length that early on, I would say in the first 5 minutes of the half here, Lenny, bothered Washington, but then Washington was able to adjust, got their perimeter game going. Thomas with a 3, and then Dentman knocking down a couple of threes, and Brockman went the longest stretch without scoring, and then he got in the act, but hitting mid-range shots as well.
Yeah, he really did. And, you know, both teams, I think, are playing to their strengths.
Yeah.
And when Brockman couldn't get down on the low block because they're double teaming him all the time, they set up a nice little play where Ammoning had the ball and they dropped the pass down to Brockman, hit a little 8-foot shot. That got him going. Next time they bring him up to the high post area, the foul line, he's feeling comfortable now. So both teams are really going at it.
Gant will bring it in bounds for the Huskies, and already Pondexter and Harmeling are tangled up in the lane. Dave Hall, the official, will come over, and he'll immediately let them know that
I like it. I love it. You know, this game is close. It means so much to both teams. Nobody's going to give an inch.
Gant will bring it in. 1 and 5/10 seconds remaining. Now Hall's not going to allow them to bring the ball in bounds until he gets the Husky bench to sit down. And the coaches to get back in the box. He wants to restore order here as we end this first half. Score tied at 28. Here's the lob inbounds, and it's to Pondexter, and he is fouled by Harmeling. So this is going to cost Washington State possibly the lead. Pondexter is going to go to the line for 2 shots.
Well, we get a chance to look at it right now. Right here, he's kind of he's leaning against him. Now he's got his arm around him. Right there, he's got him. Hey, that's an easy call for the official.
So Quincy, a 53%er from the line so far this year. In the previous 12, hits the first, and the Huskies take the lead at 29-28. Pondexter clearly has had his game rolling. It is on both tracks here this afternoon, and rolls in the second as well. Cougars bring it in with 0.8 of a second. Koprivica from backcourt will release. Would have counted had it gone, but it's well wide of the mark. Very well played first half here in Pullman. And would you expect any other reaction from the Cougar fans? Cougars trail the Huskies 30-28 halfway through. The visiting Washington Huskies trying to snap a 7-game losing streak to the Washington Cougars. And right now, halfway through, it's the Huskies leading the Cougars 30-28. Back with Jen Mueller and the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkens. I'm Kevin Calabro. Lenny, this second half will be interesting because the Huskies have been very, very good when holding a lead and maintaining it for wins in the second half. Meantime, the Cougars, that's been a point of discussion for them. Their inability in the second half to answer the bell in losses to Pitt, to LSU, and to Gonzaga.
Yeah, and Coach Bennett is very much aware of that. He's prepared his team. Although, you know, it's an uphill battle because the Huskies are 8-0 whenever they're ahead at halftime.
Jen Mueller had a chance to stop by, talk to the coaches at half. Jen, what'd you find out?
Well, Kevin, I got to tell you, that's one frustrated Cougar team that went into the locker room. They were obviously not happy with the way the first half went. The coaches said they were very surprised and impressed by the Huskies' defense. It's one of the best defensive efforts they've seen this year, but they liked how they were keeping the Huskies out of the paint. As for Lorenzo Romar, he said his guys stuck to the game plan after a few early turnovers. He likes how they're playing. We'll see how they come out in the second half, guys.
Well, Rochester snuck through that defense to score, and immediately we're tied at 30. Thomas, along with Pondexter. Thomas, 15 to shoot. A 3 is up and in. And Isaiah Thomas and Justin Dentman, Lenny, have now combined for 4 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you know, well, Isaiah got off to a great start. And when you get that confidence build up, all they have to do is give you a little bit of daylight and you think you can make the shot. And he's shown that he has.
There's that post up we talked about at half. The 6'6" Thompson on Dentman. Although he made his move.
Yeah, well, you know, he's got to show a little bit more patience. I thought he was in a little bit of a hurry. He's got the size. Just take another step, back him up, and shoot right over it.
Thomas, Pondexter on the post. He's had a terrific game. Backs it on Harmeling, goes up and under. Muscles up a shot and in. That's a terrific play.
Well, I think Pondexter can be the X factor. You know, we talked about that earlier on before the game. But this guy can make his presence felt. Right there, he did a nice job, showed great patience, and was able to score.
10 points, 4 rebounds for Pondexter, and the Huskies take a lead of 5. Here's Caleb Forrest, stopped by Brockman. Terminates the dribble outside to Harmeling. Rochester looking at Baines, who had 10 in the first half. Baines double. Get it out of his hands to Harmeling.
Well, it's the biggest lead by either team right now, 35-30. It's been a great game, though. I tell you, low score, but a great game.
Thompson, an off-balance runner, rebound Huskies. Thomas feeling it, floats a 3, won't go, follows his own miss, grabs the rebound. Little man sneaks into the clutter and comes away with a rebound.
Well, he knew that was not a great shot, and that's why he followed up and got it, because it was a little too quick.
Huskies had a rebounding edge in the first half, 15-11. Brockman elevates, and he sticks another mid-range jump shot. And Brockman, while he did not get a rebound in the first half, certainly did draw a crowd, and now he's got 3 buckets for the afternoon, and the Huskies take a 7-point lead.
Yeah, and that's the biggest lead, and a good timeout by Tony Bennett. You got to stop this. Let's get reorganized and get on with it.
Huskies have taken their largest lead of the afternoon, 37-30 here in the second half of play, Lenny Wilkins.
Well, you see Pondexter on the low block. He's patient. He's looking. Now he makes a great move into the middle where it's most difficult to stop.
Pondexter and Brockman scoreless through the first 15 minutes, and they have now scored 10 of the last 13. Craig Elo joins us. Former Cougar, played, of course, for Lenny for many years with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Good to see Mr. Elo, who continues the broadcast profession. He's what do you got, the Zags broadcast? You're doing some Cougars. You're all over the map.
I am all over the map, Kevin. You know me. I can be here, there, anywhere.
Now let's talk about the Bulldogs of Gonzaga. What's happening with them right now?
Well, I think with our conversation earlier, I was just saying they play such big games almost every week that we forget that they're 18 and 19 years old, and I think sometimes the schedule hurts them, and right now it's hurting them because they play so many big games. They have to get up every game.
What's your breakdown and analysis of this game as Aaron Baines loses the handle? Detman the other way to finish. And look out, it's the Huskies who now are scrambling. Craig out on the open floor, forcing a turnover and running out for a 9-point lead.
Well, this is about the third time I've seen Washington State. I think the most important part of the game is coming out in the second half. Those first 3 minutes for Washington State. I've seen it against GU. They let down, and they all of a sudden a 2-point game was a 14-point game. And the same thing happening right now. The Huskies come out really on fire, and the Cougs really have no answer for it, and that's been their problem all year long.
Hey, Craig, what about the Huskies? They're a team. I don't know if you saw the Portland State game, but they get a lead too, and they seem to go to sleep a little bit and don't finish the games.
That's the thing. They got to put together a whole game. All 40 minutes is what Coach always talks about, and I think both teams suffer from not doing that. But right now, the Huskies doing a little bit better than the Cougars, and I love the 3 guards Lorenzo has. I love Isaiah Thomas. I saw him in high school, and I had an opportunity to coach him at the Nike Skills Academy, and I think he's just a prolific scorer. He has just a plethora of shots that he can use, and I think the rest of the team kind of plays off of him.
Yeah, he really got himself quieted down too after they got, of course, annihilated by Kansas. They played a good close game against Florida. He took a lot of shots in that Kansas game. They really seemed to make a nice adjustment. He got his game under control, and he's a very controlled player. Don't you think, fellas, for a guy as young as he is?
Well, I really do, Kevin. I think that, I've watched him since the beginning of the season. All of a sudden, now he's starting to understand. Give Coach a lot of credit because he's talked with him. Lorenzo has calmed his game down, and now he's not so erratic.
And I think, Kevin, also you got to take into consideration after he finished at the Tacoma Curtis, he went to preparatory school back east, so he's a year mature than the rest of the point guards that are usually freshmen or as freshmen.
Well, Klay Thompson, Craig, I mean, a guy that he kind of plays the way he used to play, 6'6". He's long range, he can handle it, defends, does a variety of things.
He does. He's got a great feel for the game. I think he has a ton of shots himself on the offensive end. The only thing that kind of surprised me was nobody else was on the radar for Klay Thompson. Everybody come up to me this summer and said, how did Klay Thompson get to Washington State? And I said, well, we got big money here, and we can bring people in like that.
He really didn't mean that.
No, I didn't mean that at all, no.
7-point Husky lead.
Kevin, you know me very well.
Well, we know that Michael Thompson is a Big Ten guy. His father, of course, was the first pick in 1978. Here's Rochester. And a 3-time winner of the championship in L.A. Rochester lost a handle on the ball, wanted a foul, won't get it. Dentman the other way. 5 minutes gone by here in the second half. Brockman open, dribbles into a better range, banks it up and in. What an adjustment by the big fella.
I tell you, smart play by Brockman. He read the situation, saw the defense wasn't up on him, took a nice dribble in, banked the shot. He's on top of his game right now.
9-point lead now for the Washington Huskies. And the Cougars with Koprivica out on the floor, Baines, Casto, and Thompson with Rochester at guard. They're going to go to the money man inside. That's Aaron Baines, and he is fouled immediately on the catch. Mr. Elo, you have a great new year, my friend.
Same to y'all. Y'all do a great job. I love listening to y'all, and I tell you what, don't be surprised the Cougars are going to come back.
All right, Craig, tell the family I said hello.
They're sitting right here.
I see them. I see them.
All right.
The man from Lubbock, Texas, is still in the building. Good college ball game, the first outing into the Pac-10 for both Washington and Washington State. Right now, it's the Huskies, Lenny, leading by 9.
Well, I'll tell you, right now, they're taking advantage of Brockman. He's gotten off the mark. He's feeling pretty good about himself. Now, when that happens, your teammates will look for you. It's body language. Also, it's making shots, and that was a beautiful display right there.
Brockman with 8 points. 4 here in the second half. Look at that, where he's moved now in the all-time scoring annals.
And look at the names on there.
Yep.
I mean, I remember Christian Welp, Bob Hoobriggs, McCullough, played in the NBA. Eldridge Rakasna, I had him. James Edwards, Steve Horst, Louis Nelson. That's some great names.
Good big man. Boy, you consider Todd McCullough the career he had at the University of Washington, 3rd all-time. Outside, Rochester, after the timeout, gets an open look and drains it.
Well, I'm sure Tony Bennett told him, we can't let this game get away from us right now. We got to come out, and I love it when coaches set up, come out, and score right away.
Huskies spread the floor offensively, allowing Detman a driving lane, rejected by Casto, grabbed inside by Klay Thompson. 2 good-looking freshmen. Out ahead of Koprivica. Benoit Overton anticipates the move, has the pick, up the floor. Under through Matthew Ryan Ammoning, wisely brings it to Pondexter. Then Detman adjusts for 3, and he keens another one. Oh, they've been red hot outside, shooting 51% through much of the ball game. The Huskies pull out to a 10-point lead on Detman's 3rd 3 of the afternoon.
Well, I tell you, let Detman and Isaiah Thomas get those kind of looks. They're going to hurt you.
Casto with it in deep. Backs and turns, steps through. Matthew Bryan Ammon, a good defense to pull the rebound down. The Huskies also out-rebounding the Cougars this afternoon. But that was their strength coming in. They had a plus 11.5 rebounding advantage on opponents on their way to a 9-3 record. And a foul called inside. And if this is on NBA Matthew Bryan Ammon, it would be his 4th.
Right here, you're going to see the Huskies are pushing the ball. We talked about that. Great decision by Ammoning. Get the ball out. Now the ball moves around, and boy, Detman just knocks it down. I mean, I guess the basket must look like a sewer to him right now.
Artem Wallace.
He heard me. He's smiling.
Artem Wallace is coming off the bench. He's going to step in now for Matthew Bryan Ammoning, who just picked up his 4th foul. That comes at the 13:33 mark here of the second half. The Cougars keep Casto, Koprivica, and Baines out on the floor with Rochester and Klay Thompson at the guards. Overton will have the defensive assignment on Taylor Rochester. Cougars need to find a way to score some easy buckets. Rochester trying to take Benoit Overton off the screen. Overton trips and commits the foul.
Yeah. And, I was talking with Coach Lorenzo about this. We talked about the defense and getting out and getting up in you. And he said that Overton would do that. He said he would get right up in your face. And you see that. That's having an effect on this game.
See, Baines set that screen and just very subtly moved the right foot just an inch or 2 to get Overton. Here's Caleb Forrest with it now on the inbound. 28 to shoot for the Cougars. Cougars down 10, 3-13 to make that 13-12 left here in the second half. Koprivica drives into the lane, right to the cup to lay it up and in. Good move.
Great recognition, because everybody was pressuring up. He went right to the basket. Wasn't anybody in position to help.
Pondexter, one-on-one on Casto. They clear out the left side. Thompson digs in. And Castro's called for a foul because of the forearm into Pondexter.
Well, there was no definitive double team that time, and Pondexter just kept working his guy because they didn't come back, and he was able to draw a foul.
Just the second team foul on the Cougars in the half. Washington to bring it in bounds. Justin Holiday, his brother Drew Holiday, plays for the UCLA Bruins, a big part of the Bruin program as a freshman. Overton, chest pass to Thomas. Drives inside and tied up by Klay Thompson. Excellent anticipation by Thompson, but the possession arrow gives it back to Washington. Send it down to Jen Mueller.
Well, Kevin, you heard the crowd erupt on that great defensive play, and it's awfully hard for the Cougars to mimic defense in practice. But one of the things senior Aaron Baines said is that they do a really good job of cheering solid defensive plays, which helps teach the young young guys that that's the way you should do it once you get into a game, Kevin.
Overton drives, double, thanks, Jet, to Pondexter. In he comes with a left hand. Lenny twirls it in with a left hand, the offhand to the rim.
Well, that's our X factor at work right now. This, I'm telling you, this is a guy that can really mean a lot to the Huskies as the season goes on. He's starting to show his talent. He can do a lot of things out there on the court. He just needs patience.
Rochester drives in. He leaps over Thomas, a running lefty by Rochester. And maybe he needs to pick up the scoring down for the Cougars. He's hit a couple of tough buckets here in the last couple of minutes, pulling the Cougars to within 8 at 46-38. Justin Holiday, the sophomore, to Pondexter. Quincy jump stop, saw crowd, dumps it outside to Thomas. Pondexter one-on-one to Castro, drives it, leans in on a power hook, won't go. Jabbed away, Castro with it to Rochester, avoids Overton. But the Huskies fill the paint, a whistle. It's a late whistle, but it's a good call. It's on Overton.
That was a nice move there by Rochester. He got cut off, and you see he'll go behind his back, change direction on the play. Right here, he comes out, right there. Don't force it. Switch hands, get out. Got a chance to get to the basket.
.35 left in the second half from Pullman, Washington, where the Washington Huskies lead the Cougars of Washington State 46-38. Quincy Pondexter, the junior from Fresno, California, leading the way for the purple-clad Huskies, Lenny with 12 points.
Well, he's showing a lot of patience out there. He's not rushing anything, and when he gets the opportunity, he makes a very strong move. This guy's got 12 points. He's 5 for 7. He's got 4 rebounds. There you see Rochester makes the move on the baseline. Real smart. Got his left hand protected, goes up and scores. These two guys are having an impact on the game right now.
Rochester with 10 points, 3 boards. He's hit 5 of 7 from the field. Pondexter has 4 rebounds for this Washington team that has out-rebounded Washington State. Rochester handling, spots the seam, drives in, and it's rejected by Pondexter. Huskies on the run.
That was a great defensive read by Pondexter. He was right there because he'd have been into the basket. And now a turnover because right there Isaiah tried a little too hard and carried the ball. Defense right now. Right here you see the UW. Right here, the Huskies. Great defense by Pondexter. I mean, he was there, he extended, he makes a great block.
Pondexter with 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and now a block. Washington shooting 51% for the game. The Cougars on their home court at 48. Cougars in losing to LSU, Gonzaga, and Pitt gave up a scoring margin of 10, 19, and 11 points respectively to those 3 teams. Outscored in the second half. Can they get it going here this afternoon at home? 3 to shoot, and they turn it over. Popravica lost a handle at the 10-second mark. Holiday was there, and the Huskies will take it back from the Cougars on the 11th turnover this afternoon to Washington State.
That was great defense there, but I still think that, a guy dives on the floor going after the ball and upends the other player. You got to call something there, I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the Huskies because it was a great hustle, but you make contact like that and knock the guy off his feet, there's got to be a call.
It's been a very physical game. Castro will step out. Caleb Forrest is in with Baines, Popravica up front. And this is Dentman, who's been lights out from beyond the arc this afternoon. 3 for 3, has 11 points. Pondexter with it. 21 to shoot. Quincy out on the far point to Justin Dentman, the senior. Solid player. Thomas will take over. Artem Wallace will screen high. And Thomas will jackknife the body and throw a 3 over the much taller Thompson. Missed it. Caleb Forrest with the rebound. Rochester the other way. And you see the Huskies fill the paint. Husky defense has been very good this afternoon. Artem Wallace tries to root Baines out. A foul called on Artem Wallace.
Well, that's something Coach Lorenzo Romar worked on, was their defense, because they have such quickness out front that they can bother you. I love on the other end that they're spreading the floor, clock goes down. They really space the floor so that they have an opportunity to penetrate.
Cougars are now in the bonus on that, the 7th team foul at 10:04 here of the second half. And Aaron Baines to the line. Is a 66% on the year from the stripe. And he averages just under 12 points, 6 rebounds a game. And the big man from down under, Cairns, Australia. This is the second free throw. Wallace, 250 pounds, 6'8" from Toledo, Washington. The toss on top to Gant. He didn't really know where he was going with that ball. Tried to lob it up there to Pondexter, but threw it away.
Yeah, you got to swing the ball to the far side. That's a bad pass. You can't make that pass from that angle.
Particularly at crunch time. 7-point lead for the Huskies. 9:35 remaining. And now Brockman will come in as Wallace gave him a breather. He'll go back to the bench.
Well, the Huskies bench is doing a great job. They're coming in, they're giving guys an opportunity to get some rest. And, you know, Brockman's not getting in foul trouble. You saw he backed off then because he didn't want to pick up a cheap foul.
Brockman playing with 3 fouls, remember. Rochester, a tremendous drive. Just going right to the cup. He's got a dozen. Here's Detman for 3. And they continue to hit lights out. Justin Dittman with another 3.
Well, you got to have good rotation on that, Kevin, because they were double teaming. They did the right thing, but they didn't rotate around, and they leave Detman open. He's already made a couple.
4 for 4 on the afternoon. 49-41, 8-point lead for the Huskies. They come to double the ball on the end line, and Rochester throws it away right to Detman. Detman trying to gallop down the wing. Cougars fill the paint. Pondexter outside. Forrest recovers on the end line defensively.
You got to like the patience there. They had nothing going, and they backed that ball out as Coach Romar was calling for them to get into something. So right here, they're using the clock. They're being smart about it.
Overton off the screen, but he's forced way out wide to Pondexter on the pop. He'll lean in. A little runner, no. Get way up above. Scrapes the ceiling and brings it down on a tip jam.
Well, you don't protect that backside, and you know the Huskies are going to go to the boards. That's crashing the boards and getting great results.
10-point lead for Washington. 8 minutes remaining here in the second half. Thompson with it. Checked by Detman. You know, Rochester really has been the only form of scoring that the Cougars have been able to count on consistently. Baines has it way outside at the top of the arc. 13 to shoot now, Lenny.
Yeah, well, you know, right there, great defense, and this is a crucial time of the game for the Cougars. They can't let this get away from them, and the Huskies are pushing it at the right time.
Brockman on a reverse, wouldn't go. Baines down there contends, and now the Cougars will bring it up. And they're going to need a timeout here to talk about it. A 10-point Washington lead with 7:28 remaining in the second half of play.
Okay, but you know, and that's a good timeout call by Coach. Right here, you see, ball goes out. Detman, 4 for 4. Boom. You know, wide open. And then right here, they make a great play. Get the ball to Pondexter, and then right here, Gant comes in from the other side, and a great putback. A great putback.
Well, that rebounding margin we talked about has been decidedly Washington, and that was the aspect of their game. That is, you do your homework and you talk about the matchups between teams. You immediately point to Washington, #1 in rebounding margin. At 11.5, they average 43 per ball game. And the #1 aspect of the Washington State Cougars was their defense. The fact that they allowed teams just 49 points a game, #1 in the country, and #1 in opponent field goal percentage at 34. But Washington has thrown most of that out the window because of some red-hot perimeter shooting. that got started about midway through the first half, and they've been very consistent. Denton hitting that three-point shot. That just takes the crowd out of this thing. And defensively, you can just see the Cougars sag when that goes through the hoop.
That's right. Takes the air right out of them. And, you know, I have to say that you give Coach Lorenzo Romar a lot of credit, because when I saw them play Portland State and how they did not take care of the game toward the end, and they're starting to do that now.
Well, there were some big games played yesterday as the Pac-10 cracked it open, and already a little shocker there. California, who had a very tough preseason schedule led by Mike Montgomery in his first year there. They've won 6 in a row now. They just hammered Arizona 69-55. Arizona State a big win over Stanford. Huskies return home and they play Stanford next Thursday. Well, here's Rochester now at the point. He's been their source for scoring with 8 of his 14 in the second half. Inside they go to Baines. Has some room on Brockman, operating with 3 fouls, and lays it in.
Well, the Huskies went to a zone then, and I don't know about that, because what it does is gives Baines an opportunity on a low post, because they're not in a double team mode. So the zone may and may not be good, but it's crucial right now for the Cougars to get back in this game.
Denton, nice pass inside of Brockman, turns, squeezes off that little mid-range post shot, up and in. And Brockman has been unconscious. He's hit 5 of 9 and now has 10.
Well, it sure makes a difference when you can get off the mark early, and Brockman's feeling pretty good about himself, and that was not an easy shot, but he had the confidence to make it.
Denton knocked down, and a foul called against Washington State, and this is another turnover on the Cougars. Their 13th of the game, in Washington with a 10-point lead will take over with 6:34 remaining in the contest. Welcome in, everybody, to the Jack Friel Court. It's a 10-point lead here in Portland for the visiting Washington Huskies, 53-43.
Well, I'll tell you, the Huskies' defense has made a huge difference, because it's given them the confidence. They've gotten some easy opportunities, then they've gotten some wide-open shots. And right now is a crucial time for the Cougars, because if they let the Huskies extend the lead, it's going to be very difficult to come back.
Washington has showed great poise, and they have shown confidence here in the second half. Brockman double, gets rid of it to Overton, 7 to shoot. Drives and kicks. Brockman, a deep 2, sails over the rim, and Clay Thompson with a rebound. Can they come back? Down 10. Cougars on their home court. 5:52 left in the second half. Rochester, he's been the man they've leaned on, and he'll gun a 3. That one off the mark. Gant with a rebound. And again, the Huskies crash to the backboard. They have an 8-rebound advantage on Washington State this afternoon.
Well, the Huskies have been, you know, right now the defense is terrific, and they've been able to dominate the boards even when Brockman's not in the game. So they've stayed after it. Their defense has been good. I'm sure after that Portland State game, Coach Romar had them work on their defense and also on their ball movement, because they're doing an excellent job right now. 7
to shoot. Overton to Gant, who'll squeeze off the mid-range shot. Nope. Ball deflected by Brockman, grabbed by Pondexter at the rim, calmly turns and lays it in, and he has 14 for the afternoon.
Well, the X factor is alive and well, boy, I tell you. And they're keeping that ball alive. The whole team is keeping it alive. That gives them second opportunities.
Pondexter, 14 points and 6 rebounds. Good work for the junior from Fresno. Koprivica, cross-court pass to Thompson for 3, off the heel of the iron. Forced with a rebound. Dentman is there to rip it away, but out of bounds. 4:44 remaining. And here comes Isaiah Thomas off the bench for Overton. The Huskies bench has been outstanding this afternoon.
Well, look at here. The ball is kept alive. They're hitting the boards every time UW. Pondexter gets a nice putback. So they're doing their job out there. They're playing with great poise. Their bench has been very supportive. They're doing an outstanding job, and they're making it difficult for the Cougars.
Well, 7 consecutive times the Cougars have beaten Washington. March 8th, 2008, Pullman, Washington down 2 with under 10 seconds to play. Robbie Calgill gets a putback after Taylor Rochester missed. Washington State took and held an early lead in double overtime. A Ryan Appleby three-point shot. Are you kidding me? This attempt from long range just misses at the buzzer. Hold your breath. And Washington State takes the thrilling double overtime game in Pullman. The game featured 10 ties, 9 lead changes. Neither team led by more than 6 points. There's Quincy Pondexter, who has carried the Huskies from an offensive standpoint with 14. Dentman 14, 11 for Thomas, 10 for Brockman. Balanced scoring to this Husky ball club.
Well, they're really moving the ball. They're doing a great job. No one is sitting on it. I like what the Huskies are doing. They've got a chance to really become a factor now.
Popovica on the end line, outside to Thompson. To Forrest for the baseline touch. Pondexter another rebound. Keep in mind that the students here at Washington State are on break and will be for the next 2 home games, both Pac-10 games. And we asked some folks in the Sports Information Office about that, and they said that's just the way it rolled out and the manufacture of this schedule by the Pac-10. It's unfortunate because this can be a very, very loud and unruly crowd here and could certainly be a factor. But I tell you, Washington has taken the Washington State crowd out of this game in the second half that they're playing.
Well, they really have, but it's not the same crowd either. It's not the crowd that you saw on that highlight. So, yeah, the crowd makes a huge difference. But give the Huskies credit. I like their defense. They're not giving them anything easy. They'll take control of this game themselves.
Washington up 12 with a timeout and 3:51 to play in the game from Pullman.
Leadership on display today in the huddles. John Brockman, the guy who arguably wants to win this game more than any of his teammates, actually telling his teammates, hey, settle down. We can't get too excited about this. We have to finish the game strong. On the Cougars bench, senior David Harmeling giving some tips on the finer points of defense to Clay Thompson, who is still getting used to his first Pac-10 game, guys.
Jen, thanks. UW shooting 49%, 54% from 3. How do you beat that? 12-point lead now for Washington. Baines on the baseline, and the turnaround jumper hit the side of the glass. But again, the Huskies have dropped down on Aaron Baines, and they've double-teamed him, and they've gotten in his vision, Lenny.
Well, they really have, and I thought that was a great double team right there because what they did is not let him split them. And they forced him into taking a fall-away jump shot rather than one where he's straight up.
Huskies with 16 on the shot clock, 3:13 to play here in the second half. We've seen the last 3 possessions for the Huskies be very conservative. See what Thomas does here. He'll thread his way in. Has a block by Baines. Loose ball grabbed off the court by Brian Ammoning. Right back to the rim. No go. Brockman the rebound. Tosses outside of Dentman. Oh, he had a notion from 3 where he's hit 4 for 4. He'll pass it up, and the Huskies will work them clock with 2:53 to go. That shows constraint there, doesn't it?
That really does, and it shows domination on the boards as well because they had 2 opportunities, and then the third one they brought it out and utilized the clock. Smart basketball by the Huskies.
55-43 count, 2:37 to go in this one. And Dentman with it. Brockman will pop out. Baines may have gotten a hand on it. Matthew Bryant Ammoning the rebound, and he'll bring it back outside. And again, the Husky ball club to a man aware of the shot clock, game clock, and the situation with a 12-point lead.
Well, we talked about, law of averages. Well, law of averages had nothing to do with it. It was all Huskies this game. Their defense was magnificent. I mean, they really bothered the Cougars. They forced them into hurried situations, and then they played smart basketball down the stretch right now, getting 2 and 3 opportunities at the basket.
A 31-19 rebounding advantage for the Washington Huskies, and it has made all the difference for this basketball team. Washington State has just 1 field goal in the last 7 minutes, and Washington is taking the mystery out of this one. They're up 12 with possession and 2:15 remaining. Thomas is fouled by Koprivica. The Cougars with their 16th foul.
Well, the Cougars are going to try and stop the clock every time now. They're going to put the Huskies on the foul line, see if they can make free throws. Not a bad strategy, but right now, if you look at it, the Huskies have been making their free throws this afternoon.
Well, Washington State, when you first take a look at the two teams come out on the court, it had a decided height advantage, size advantage. And it worked to their advantage for the first 8 to 10 minutes of the first half. But then when the Huskies start hitting jump shots with their quickness on the perimeter. Now, Lenny, you got to pick your poison. Do I come out, close out on the shooter, knowing that Thomas can get by me to the rim, or do I give him a little space?
That's right. You got to pick your poison. And because Thomas is very good at getting to the basket. And then not only did they make the outside shots, they started getting other people in. Pondexter, all of a sudden, he steps up and he makes 2 or 3 inside moves where he scores. And then Brockman, he starts to score. So all of a sudden, you got the whole Husky team involved in the offense.
Quincy Pondexter this afternoon, the lead dog, 6 of 9. Quincy with 14.7 boards, 3 assists. Taylor Rochester has led Washington State in scoring with a dozen. Baines with 11, but nobody else could step up to lend assistance. The inbounds, Dentman tripped up and he caught a knee in the right thigh, but I'm sure that won't prevent him from going to the free throw line. He is smiling right now, right through that mouthpiece. We should mention that Elston Turner is out with a sprained ankle for the Washington Huskies, and he was going to be counted upon to shoot three-pointers, perimeter shooter, a freshman from down near Houston, Texas. He is dressed and on the Husky bench, and presumably will play next week. Dentman rolls in the free throw. And boy, has Dentman played a whale of a game today. 14 points for Justin. 4 of 4 from 3, 5 of 7 from the field.
Well, he's been outstanding all game long. They've been most excited. Look at here. They dominate the boards again, get the ball out, and now they know that the Cougars have got a foul, so just be smart, move the ball around. And Isaiah Thomas is going to wind up on the foul.
And you know, that rebounding advantage is not a case of guys just clearing people out because they don't have the superior size, but the Huskies are so quick and so aware of their space and where they are relative to the ball.
That's right, and they do that. They go right at it. You know, the last win over the Cougars, February 19, 2005 in Pullman. That's a long drought.
Thomas hits the free throw. By the way, I love the way you say Cougars. I love that, man. Brooklyn comes to the Palouse. So good.
You should hear me say water.
Well, Dentman hits a couple, and boy, oh boy, has he played well. They've have 4 guys in double figures this afternoon, the Huskies do. And a timeout called here, 58-43, with 2:06 remaining in the second half. Here's Rochester to Thompson, and he knocks down a 3. So Clay Thompson with a shot with 1:57 remaining here in the second half. Whittles the Husky lead down to 12 at 58-46, 1:57 to go in the second half. At halftime, Washington had a 2-point lead. And again, second half's a problem for this Washington State basketball team as you take a look at their schedule heading down and playing the Oregon schools on the 15th and 17th of January before the Southern California teams are here on the 22nd in their swing through the state of Washington. And that trip to Arizona can't come fast enough, can it, with this weather outside? January the 29th and the 31st. Well, everybody said the Pac-10 was down this year. That's because they were so strong last year. Great talent everywhere in the league. And, of course, Washington State won 26 games. They won 52 over the last 2 years. But when you lose Derek Lowe and Kyle Weaver from the mix, boy, that sets you back a little bit. And obviously, Robbie Cowgill and the things that he did for this Washington State basketball team. So Washington State just feeling their way along, trying to find their identity. Time now to take a look at our Hampton Inn winning play of the game.
Well, what you're going to see there is they keep that ball alive. And there's my man, Pondexter. Yep. Johnny on the spot.
Cute. He had it going this afternoon. Thomas Isaiah was very strong in the first half as well when Washington was looking for a scoring answer. He was the go-to guy. He and Denton just riddled the Cougars from the perimeter.
Well, you know, the Huskies are improving every game. Their free throw shooting is getting better. You know, people say the Pac-10 is down. I don't know about that. I think that you're going to see some young players step up and be very effective.
It's definitely changed.
Yes.
And that's the excitement, I think, of the conference. The fact that these freshmen are sort of X factors. I mean, you think Drew Holiday down there in Southern California played for UCLA. The fine freshman crop that Tony Bennett has on his basketball team. We got a chance to see D'Angelo Casto, and of course, this young fella now playing for Washington, Isaiah Thomas. Man, is he electric!
Jordan Hill from Arizona.
You were talking about him yesterday.
Boy, I'll tell you, he stepped up big time from a year ago.
Thomas sails in the second free throw. 62-46 with 1:35 remaining. Popovic 3, Thomas with a rebound.
Well, I'll tell you the thing I like about this is that the Huskies are continuing to pressure all game long. They're staying up. They're not sitting back and say, okay, the game's over. They're getting out. They're playing defense. They got to get used to that, and that's good for them. So they're not giving the Cougars anything easy. They're making them have to earn every opportunity they get.
Darnell Gant and Caleb Forrest are both tagged with a technical foul. Lorenzo Romar is going to bring Gant out, and he'll have some words for Mr. Gant. And in the meantime, Justin Holiday will step in here in just a moment.
We have a double technical that was called. 44 blue, Darnell Gant.
Well, the Cougars, Caleb Forrest, Aaron Baines, David Harmeling up front. But Forrest is a banger, not really known as a score average of 6 a game. David Harmeling really not a factor from an offensive standpoint. He's an excellent three-point shooter, but he was unable to get into any kind of groove this afternoon. Again, Washington's defense was very disruptive.
Yeah, it was. They just would not give him the opportunities. That's great scouting and great execution on defense. We know this guy, what he can do, that he's a three-point shooter. So let's not give him any opportunity. Make him put the ball on the floor. That's just smart, and it's good defense.
Thomas heading to the line. Now the Huskies, Achilles' heel has been the free throw shooting. 63% so far, but here this afternoon, a non-factor. 64-46 count.
Well, you know, I watched them, Kevin, and the thing is that they can be a good free throw shooting team. They just got to focus. Great block there by Manning. I mean, right there, they were not going to give up anything. And that's what we talk about. Play the game out. And that's been a Huskies Achilles heel as well. And now they're doing a better job.
Cross-court pass, Holiday the interception to Dentman, drives the other way, going to put it off the glass for Pondexter on the trail with a two-hand slam. And reading Lorenzo's face, and non-committal look on his face. Some coaches just don't abide by that. Lenny, what about you?
Well, you know, I don't abide by that when you're killing the other team, but at the same time, it's a way to reward your forward for all the hard work out there. If you're a guard, let's give him an easy opportunity.
Jump ball call, so a change of possession here, and the team.
You take a look at this. Right there, they make a great defensive play, get the ball out, get it up ahead, and now they make a pass off the board for Pondexter to get an easy score. I don't have a problem with that.
And Dentman just got the lay-in a moment ago. 68-46. I did not imagine this with 40 seconds remaining here in the second half. The Washington Huskies running roughshod over the Cougars.
Well, you know, I was talking with Coach Romar before the game, and he was talking about the fact that it'd be hard to run against a team that gets 4 guys back all the time. But we were talking, if you dominate the boards and you get some chances to run, you got to push it. You got to put pressure on the other team, and he did it magnificently.
5-inning career against Washington State. Lorenzo Romar, his ball club last year won the 16 games. Year before that, 19. And of course, he had the 2 terrific years bookend. And they won 29 in 04-05, 26 in 05-06, and 2 Sweet 16 appearances. And a bit premature to talk about that. A chance of a tournament, but Washington playing with great confidence here in the second half. Well, they wanted to bring Brockman off and Pondex, and they get them both off. Popovic on the inbounds misses, and Holiday with a rebound.
Well, I liked how they played today. You give Coach Romar a lot of credit. Both teams played hard. It was a tough game throughout most of the game, but then finally the Huskies defense and rebounding just took control of this game.
Washington, a very disciplined team. I've been able to observe that. I tell you, Lorenzo definitely has their ears, their minds, their eyes. He has done an outstanding job of managing this team this year. Here's Thompson. Caleb Forrest will finish up and in. 3 seconds remaining. Huskies bringing in bounds, and that will do it. Our thanks to Jen Mueller. And Lenny Wilkins, great to see you again.
Well, it was great to be back here. I felt good sitting here next to you.
The Hall of Famer's not left a step. What would you expect? 68-48 final. The Huskies win this one to go 10-3. Washington State goes to 8-5. For the crew, Kevin Calabro from Pullman.